Welcome to the GEM5000 Field Calibration Training Presentation. As a disclosure and to make you aware of the use of potential flammable or poisonous and compressed gas, we recommend to perform calibrations or gas checks in a well-ventilated area and always refer to the MSDS sheets for any health and safety procedures before using compressed gas. To get you familiar with the ports for the GEM5000, this image illustrates the purpose of each port to make sure the hoses are connected properly during the calibration process. As you can see in this image, I'm just going to go over the two main ports that we're going to be using for the field calibration purpose. Starting with the white port indicated by the letter B, which is the inlet and static port pressure port. This is the port we're going to use to connect the gas, for the gas to go into the unit. The next port, it's the yellow color port, which is the exhaust port indicating by the letter E on this image. So this is where the two ports, the main ones we're going to use for the calibration purpose. To get familiar with the keypad, we're going to start by identifying the keys, as I will during the presentation be calling the keys, starting with the soft keys, which are the top three arrow keys on the top of the key membrane. Next, we have the backlight key. Next to the backlight key, we have the menu key, which we will be using during the presentation. Next to the menu key, we have the question mark key, which is a help key that you can press at any time for any additional information. Then we have the on and off key, which is the power key to turn on and off the instrument. Then we have the key number 2, which is also the up arrow key, and number 8, which is also the down arrow key. And you can also always use the also keys number 4 and 6 to go right and left as needed. Then we have the fan key, which activates the pump on and off. And lastly, we have the enter key. So this can give you an idea as we go through the calibration. I'll be naming some of these keys that will get you familiar when I call those keys during the presentation. We're going to start by going through the differences between the GEM5000 and the GEM5000 terminology when it comes to the user field calibration. To start, as you can see in your screen, the naming of the field calibration and the zero and span, it's a little bit different wording that we use for the GEM5000. For example, on the GEM5000, the gas check will be the equivalent for the field calibration with the GEM5000. The zero and the span on the GEM5000 will be the equivalent to a check or calibrate to zero gas and a check or calibrate to span target gas for the GEM5000. And in short term, the concept is still the same. Before we can calibrate a specific channel, we'll still need to be zeroed out before we calibrate. So this is just basic terminology to be aware and don't get confused during the calibration process. In this, before we begin the calibration process, here's just a quick snapshot of the calibration overview summary, which will be explained in detail in the next few steps. Just kind of go over the main 3 steps we're going to go over to cover the complete calibration, starting with step number 1. As you can see, we give the user 2 options to zero, the fresh air and the pure N2. Once step 1 is completed, then we jump into step 2 to calibrate the CH4 CO2, again with 2 gas mixes that the user has available to select from, CH4 high, CH4 low. Once step 2 is completed, then we jump into step number 3, which is the final step to calibrate the oxygen gas mix. And again, you have 2 mixes to select from: oxygen low, that calibrates the oxygen to 4%. And you also have the option to select oxygen high, which calibrates the oxygen to 20.9. To begin, we're going to press the on and off key for about 2-3 seconds to turn on the instrument. After this, the unit is going to turn on. A self-test is going to, as the booting process completes, is going to initiate a self-test check. After the self-test is complete, you'll have to press the right soft key to select next. If you have any users created, it will first prompt you to select the user at this point. You can select the user by scrolling up or down, and then by pressing the enter key once you have selected the user. For those who do not have any users set up, it will go directly to the main reading screen. In this case, we do have a user set up, so we're going to select the user. Once we're done, we're going to press the enter key to select it. This will take you to the main reading screen. So at this point, we will start by pressing the menu key. This takes you to the operation settings screen. From this menu screen, select key number 2 for gas check. From the gas check screen, press key number 1 for gas check again. Under the select gas mix screen, let me explain some terminology of the 3 basic commands that the GEM5000 recognizes during the field calibration. And this is terminology is described as follows. Basically, as you can see in this screen, in this particular fresh air mix, you can see that the CH4 has a value of 0.0, CO2 has a blank field or nothing, and the oxygen channel has a value of 20.9. What does this mean to you or to the unit? Let me explain. If the unit, any channel, has a value of 0.0, like in this case for the CH4 and CO and H2S and H2, if it's a plus unit, the instrument will check or calibrate this channel to 0. If the gas channel is blank or has no value at all, the instrument will ignore this gas channel during a check or calibration. And in the case where any gas channel has a value greater than 0, like the oxygen at 20.9, the instrument will check or calibrate to the span target shown, in this case to 20.9. So in this gas mix pre-configured from the factory, as you can see, it's a snapshot of just how the 6 gas mixes that we preload as from factory, how they're pre-configured from factory, and you can see the values. In this case, we're concentrating on the fresh air. And once again, focus on the fresh air gas mix and keeping in mind those 3 basic commands that the GEM5000 recognizes. Under this gas mix, we can clearly see that the mix will check or calibrate the CH4 to 0, do nothing for the CO2, and calibrate the oxygen to 20.9. Okay, in this case, it will also 0 the CO and H2S since they have a value of 0.0. After selecting the fresh air gas mix, it will take you to the gas check screen. And by default, the pump is configured to automatically turn on and to pull ambient air. At this time, wait for the values to stabilize, and then using the left soft key, select check. This will activate a 1-minute timer. During this period, the gas values will finalize stabilizing. Note that during this stabilization period, the note on the current column is going to show the live readings. The target column shows the values we're calibrating to, and under the status column you may see several symbols that might be changing during this period. A green check mark means that the current value is within specification. A yellow exclamation symbol means that the values are close to the target gas, but a calibration is really recommended at this point. A red X means that the current value is out of range and it will fail the check or calibration. And lastly, a circle means that the specific channel is disabled. In this case, the only channel that's being disabled is the CO2, as you can see. So as the timer goes down, you're going to see the, like again, symbols going back and forth, the current values getting more stable. When the timer has ended, the message check complete will show up at the top of the screen. The user will have three options on the bottom to select at this point: retry, calibrate, and record. If all channels have a green check mark, you can select record. If you see any channels with the yellow exclamation symbol, we strongly recommend to select calibrate. And if you see any red X's for any channel, you can select the retry option to run the unit longer with gas. In this example, we'll press the middle soft key to select calibrate. The unit is now calibrating, and this should take you a few seconds to do that. Then a calibration successful message will appear indicating all channels have been properly calibrated. Note that at this point the values are not being stored to the memory, so if you're running ambient air, do not turn off the pump at this time. And if you're using a calibration gas bottle, do not turn off the gas at this point until the calibration values have been saved. How do we do that? To save the results, press the right soft key to select exit. Now the results are saved. At this point, you can turn off the gas and disconnect your bottle if you're using the calibration gas bottle. If not, go ahead and press the right soft key again to exit, and this will automatically turn off the pump for you. And that will take you to the select gas mix. And at this point, we're done with step number 1. So going into step number 2, we're going to use key number 8, which is the arrow key, to scroll down to select the your CH4 CO2 gas mix. So keep pressing key number 8 until you highlight the gas mix desired. In this example, we'll be using the CH4 high gas mix. Once selected, press the enter key. Again, the default gas mixes are pre-configured from the factory. Focusing on the CH4 high gas mix and keeping in mind those 3 basic commands that we discussed at the beginning that the GEM5000 recognizes. Under this gas mix, we can clearly see that this mix will check or calibrate the CH4 to 50%, check or calibrate the CO2 to 35%, and check or calibrate the oxygen to 0, and do nothing for the other channels. In the gas check screen for the CH4 high mix, at this point, connect the regulator hose to the inlet or static port on the analyzer, which is also indicated by the white color around the port. Open the regulator for the gas to start flowing and wait for the readings to stabilize. Once the values are stable, press the left soft key to select check. This will start the 1-minute timer. So once again, once the 1 minute timer is activated, you're going to see under the status column symbols going back and forth, the current values stabilizing. After the timer is complete, the check complete message will appear, showing the 3 options available to select from. In this case, we're going to press the middle soft key to select calibrate. The unit is now calibrating. A calibration successful message will appear indicating all channels have been properly calibrated. Note that at this point the values again have not been stored into the memory, so do not turn off the gas at this point until the calibration values have been stored. To save the results, once again we have to press the right soft key to select exit. Now the results have been saved. Now you can turn off the gas and disconnect your gas bottle. Once done, you're going to press soft key to exit, and this will take you back to the select gas mix screen. So now we're done with step number 2. Now moving forward to step number 3, which is our last step, we're going to keep pressing key number 8 again to scroll down to select our oxygen gas mix. In this example, we'll be using the oxygen high gas mix. Once selected, press the enter key. Once again, the default gas mixes are pre-configured from the factory. Focus is on this O2 high gas mix, and keeping in mind again the 3 basic commands that the GEM5000 recognizes. Under the oxygen high gas mix, we can clearly see that the mix will check or calibrate the oxygen to 20.9 and do nothing for the remaining gas channels. After selecting the oxygen high gas mix, it will take you to the gas check screen, and by default the pump is configured to automatically turn on and pull ambient air. At this time, wait for the values to stabilize, and then using the left soft key, select check. Once again, this will activate the 1 minute timer. After the timer is complete, the complete message will appear showing the 3 options available to select. And once again, we're going to press the middle soft key to select calibrate. The unit is now calibrating. A calibration successful message will appear indicating all channels have been properly calibrated. In this case, it's just this O2 channel that is being calibrated, and as you can see, it has a green check mark. Note that at this point the values have not been stored to the memory, so do not turn off the pump until the calibration values have been stored. To save the results, press the right soft key to select exit. Now the results are saved. At this point, press the right soft key to exit, and this will automatically turn off the pump. Now you're back at the select gas mix. At this point, you have successfully calibrated your GEM5000, and now you can exit back to the main reading screen to start taking readings by pressing exit. From the gas check screen, press the right soft key again to exit. Once more to exit from the menu screen. Now you're back at the main reading screen, and now you should be able to start taking readings.